We want to welcome our Bloomberg TV and radio audiences worldwide. Shares of Qualcomm under a bit of pressure. The company posted third quarter results showing a bit of lackluster growth in the smartphone market. But their story longer term has been a move into other areas. Delighted to say that Qualcomm CEO Cristiano Amon joins us now. And you and I have discussed this so many times, the move into IoT and in particular automotive. So I thought that a good starting point would be to ask when smartphone and handset is no longer the majority of revenue, and when that kind of tipping point, or how close toward that tipping point is, where your diversification efforts have shifted the business model.
Very good, Ed. Great talking to you. Look, I don't really understand what not to like about it. We have been consistently delivering what we said we're going to do. I think the company has changed. The company created a lot of growth opportunities. And to answer your question, we outlined, I think, in last year on our Investor Day, a plan that we're going to have $22 billion of non-handset business by fiscal 29. And at that point, we expect the company to be diversified at a 50% non-handset revenue. And we continue to execute on that plan. We're happy with it. We provided a new metric. The new metric that we provided, as we provide guide for fiscal 25, we now expect that we will have the second consecutive year of QCT, or chip business, non-Apple growth of 15%. So we have second year double-digit growth on non-Apple revenues. I think the company continued to diversify, continued to generate growth. We're executing what we said we're going to do, and we're happy with it. And we're creating optionality for the company in other areas. For example, data center, in robotics, all of those which are going to be upside to the plan. So we're just going to continue to execute on our strategy.
The data point is new, right? QCT ex Apple revenues, and I was interested to read and understand it. You've also communicated quite a lot about this shift as Apple moves away from your modems for iPhone. May I ask what you think investors need to understand and remodel for, or even what is it that investors are misunderstanding about that process, Cristiano?
Look, I believe that investors are probably still over-indexing on the short term, and they've been focusing about Qualcomm as a handset company. I think the handset market has been a market that has not been growing, and then you have this conversation about the fact that Apple's transitioned to their own modem. You have to step back. And you have to step back and you have to understand that Qualcomm has very, very unique and competitive IP across many areas. We're no longer just a communications company. We have very compelling computing IP, both on the CPU, on the GPU, on the AI accelerator of our NPU. And this IP is creating leadership position in other industries. Actually, we execute on our growth and diversification. Right. Out of nowhere, we create an automotive business. We're now going into the era of AI at the edge with industrial.
Yes.
Our IoT had a great quarter and exceeded expectations because of our new personal AI devices like the Meta glasses. And we're growing on Android. We had outlined we're going to be doing 5%. The market will grow on Android 5% per year at our Investor Day. We're doing in around 10%. So the company is showing its growth and earnings power, 15%
Cristiano?
on Apple. Yes.
Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you. There's so much I want to get through because
yes,
I understand the calculus on the long term. The thing that many were trying to understand is the pull forward effect of tariffs. Did you see in the data anything that would suggest orders went in 1H or the most recent quarter and then won't show up in the second half of this year?
No, and that's reflected in our guide. We had a strong guide in the handsets for next quarter. I think we'll remind folks that we don't have flagship lines in this quarter, and we have seen no pull-ins.
If you're listening live on Bloomberg TV and radio, we're speaking to the Qualcomm CEO, Cristiano Amon. Cristiano, I don't know if you remember, but 2 years ago, almost to the day, you and I sat on stage and did a demo of an on-device running of an LLM in airplane mode. 2 years on, I'd like to ask if that shows up yet in revenues and how that's playing out in the real world.
Yes, you have to look on how people are using those devices. And we provide an interesting data point. With the Samsung Galaxy S25, that is the one they're selling right now, compared to the prior phone, the Galaxy S24, the use of Google Gemini is 3x, triple. So what you're starting to see more and more, you have people using AI. It's a mistake to be talking about, is this cloud connected, is this on-device connected? It's both. The smartphone is the most cloud-connected device in the world, and we have a lot of processing power in our devices. And we see that playing out. And in this quarter, we said something very unique, Ed. We said, first time ever, we show 1 billion parameter model running on a glass, on a smart glass. So think about, for example, the use case of everything you say to the glass, you can have an immediate response with the model running locally. Right. And this is how this is going to evolve.
As you know, I'm probably one of the few journalists on the planet that likes to rip apart things, including cars and servers. And I've been thinking a lot about your automotive business. You've made gains. Sales are up. But I wanted you to talk through the equation of content per vehicle and whether that's the key metric that's going to drive growth.
Most of our growth right now is actually converting our pipeline into revenues. Remember, we outline a very large pipeline of design wins as those cars are they're getting to SOP. Those started to show on their revenue. That's what's driving our growth. Our growth has not been driven by the size of the market, it's by converting, it's about share gain, converting the pipeline. Having said that, we see content in automotive accelerating. More and more computing is going to the car in the digital cockpit for Gen AI use cases. A lot of OEMs adding use cases on the dashboard of the car, on the infotainment, because we're going to be working from the car, get entertained from the car. We're going to talk to the car. The second thing that we see is content for ADAS and autonomy, and that is adding a lot of processing content. And we have a runway ahead as a lot of these software-defined vehicles change microcontrollers into a central computing. So we have a roadmap to continue to increase content.
Cristiano, I asked this same question earlier in the hour to ARM CEO Rene Haas, so I'm going to ask you the same question out of sheer objectivity and fairness. Long-time partners, when will you bury the hatchet? My understanding is investors want to see movement towards that.
Look, the most important thing, we had a trial. We are incredibly happy with the trial outcome. It determined that Qualcomm is fully licensed for Orion CPUs and will continue to be able to build ARM-compatible CPUs. So from our perspective, our ability to continue to build incredible products and ship to our customers, we're in great shape. And I think you should be looking at Qualcomm as a company that has the ability to provide one of the best ARM-compatible CPUs, and we're going to bring that across every one of our markets.
Cristiano Amon, Qualcomm CEO, thank you for your time here on Bloomberg Tech.